Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're here in studio. Well, I'm in studio, and I have two guests joining us via Zoom, Police Chief Scott Gilbert and Deputy Police Chief Tim Farqhuarson. Just before the break, we got into some of the issues, and I do want to ask the Chief about crime statistics in Peterborough. Chief, this is something that's monitored, it's reported on regularly. Peterborough seems to be up and down. One of our challenges is we're the smallest census metropolitan area, so we get compared with lots of larger cities. And some people think that's a good thing to be in there for statistics, but when it comes to comparing apples and oranges, sometimes it's a challenge. But where do we stand as a city and a region, because of course you cover outside the Peterborough area as well, or the city proper. What is our crime statistics compared to other communities our size?
We definitely do not rank in the top 10, that's for sure. We're well down for crime stats. We're also in the upper categories for clearance rates. So that's when an incident happens, we're able to clear it either with a charge or link it to an offender who, for whatever reason, can't be charged. But our clearance rate has always been in usually the top 3 for the province, and it's been that way for quite a while. Or sorry, the top 10 for the last several years. So we do very well when it comes to that. We have seen increases in crime, particularly over the last year with COVID. Domestics, as you can understand, would be up. People are at home, they can't really socially distance from their partner, and the idea of going on a vacation means moving from the living room to the dining room with us all in lockdown. So there's been issues. So domestics are up, unfortunately, but it wasn't something that was unexpected amongst either the police agencies or the social service agencies in town that have been trying to respond and assist people with that. And obviously part of domestics is financial issues that go along with that. And that generally will drive some of the domestic issues with people not being able to work or having a reduced income because of COVID. It creates friction in the home, and as a result, people get into arguments and the police get called. We have seen an increase in theft from autos and a corresponding increase in frauds that goes along with the theft from autos. And that's, you hear a lot of talk about car hopping.
Yeah.
Well, what that is people leaving their cars unlocked with valuables in it. Very, very infrequently will you hear about somebody's car having a window smashed and somebody steals something out of it. It's people leave their vehicles insecure. Somebody goes in and finds a wallet with credit cards in it or a debit card, and then they just go to the local variety store and do a few quick taps with that card to either buy something, lottery tickets, cigarettes, whatever, and that increases our fraud stats. So we've done a lot of messaging around, lock it or lose it, but we're still seeing people leaving things insecure. And, we talked about the GTA influence before, and I can remember growing up in the GTA and we'd go up north to the cottage for 2 weeks and leave the house unlocked. I was to find later in life that we didn't really do that unintentionally. It's just my parents didn't have a key for the front door anymore, so they just left it unlocked.
Right.
We never had a problem. And unfortunately, we're not in the 60s where you can do that anymore. You really do need to take precautions because there are people that will try and victimize you.
Yeah, and times have changed. I know Tim grew up on the street I live on, and back into the 80s you could leave things open, but it really is up to the individuals. They can prevent that. Just check and lock, and I got to say I check every night and make sure everything's set, and even having that last look, because you do forget, and that's typically, as you say, the car hoppers will just go through until they find one, and then perpetuate the other issues. Tim, I want to come back to you. You alluded to the drug issue, and I know in your career you've been heavily involved in that topic, education-wise, and also dealing with the issue. And we read about it and we hear about fentanyl and these dangerous drugs, and there's the new facility, injection site, care sites going into the old Greyhound building. What can you as police officers do, and what are you doing to help alleviate that problem, which is the root of some of these problems, like people trying to break into cars to get money for drugs? I mean, what is the City of Peterborough and the Peterborough Police Service doing, and is there any type of light at the end of this tunnel, or any type of legislation or support that can help us with this problem?
Man, you didn't make it easy for me, Jay. This is like, this is polarizing and divisive. So no matter what we say, there'll be people that feel differently. But there's certain things that we can really agree on. One of the changes that you asked about since I've been deputy is, and what I've seen over my 34 years, is our closeness with our community partners, and that's only gotten stronger. And if you look at the Peterborough drug strategy we started in 2008, we were one of the first in Canada. We were one of the first to have naloxone. We were the first in Ontario, one of the first, if not the first in Canada, for our officers to be equipped with naloxone, just to show you what our mentality is here and the proactive thought. But if you look at the 4-pillar strategy in the treatment, harm reduction, prevention / education and enforcement, we know what our role is. So we support our partners. So there is light at the end of the tunnel that way. Our job is to disrupt the supply, interdict, work with our partners. We're working on importation, cultivation, production, all those things that we're doing. We're targeting the traffickers, even at the street level, those that are profiting off our most vulnerable. So that's the police role. And there's been a lot of pressure put by police across Canada to put the addiction issues, the people that are using problematically and chaotically, towards public health. We'll take care of the reciprocating behavior that goes along with that if it's criminal. For sure. So there's that whole piece that we are working on the supply end to disrupt that supply and interdict, which we're not going to get rid of the supply. We're just making it tough for them.